Greetings, everyone. This is Kev. Good to be here once again. Let me give some shout outs real quick to those who are already in the chat. We got RPM in the house. We got Longo Savage. Long live my brother. We got Dane One saying I'm here for the popcorn. D Rock Den. Hurry up and buy. What's good, y'all? What's good? This is Kev, and this is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's for the haters. That's not in particular for the people that just shouted out. They're here on a regular basis, and I appreciate all of that. So, give yourselves a hand, brothers. So, anyway, yeah, man, it's pretty crazy in these social media streets, man. I don't even know what to say, man, because it's like we letting little stuff tear us apart. I would say it's these little arguments. Do we ever get tired of this same repeated motion that we do when it comes to in an exchange of thought? One thing I will say that it is a much needed conversation. No matter how minuscule it may appear, but at the same time, we gotta think about these things and choose our battles more carefully. And hopefully, I can explain it enough, um, as we get on with this broadcast. But anyway, oh, Ike, what's going on? Mr. Ogiamine is in the house tonight. I mean, I get it, representation, arguing over stuff that we don't own or we don't have any creative control of. But one thing that I do understand that it is also a selling point to try to appease. That's why they do this thing called representation. But just I've seen a couple of people, um, give their thoughts and say things such as that this is reparations of some type, and I don't believe that we should be insulted enough to believe that if there was a thing that was close to representation, I mean not representation, I'm sorry, reparations, that this right here wouldn't be good enough. I mean, I wouldn't say make a habit of going around and ruining it for people who have the potential to enjoy something like this. But since we're brutally honest over here, we can have that conversation. As I said, that this channel, this particular platform is going to go by a more darker tone, not meaning that we're going to get into the sick and demented or anything like that, but just if I'll just put it like this: if you're nice to us over here, we'll be nice to you, or wherever you want to take it, as long as we don't involve anything that's too weird and too out the box. So um yeah, it's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal. What we're talking about tonight is not a big deal. You are adult enough and human enough to make these decisions for yourself. So to not treat me like some type of mock preacher or some type of zealot that's trying to influence you to do horrible things with yourself and others. That's not what my intent is. My only intent is to have a conversation about things that seem to be plaguing people in social media. And it wouldn't be a big deal if it wasn't so many of you. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about representation and what representation really means and how you were represented as a black person, how you were represented as a black man, how, and have this thing as like, we always have these smug people always telling us as black men that the world doesn't respect us. The world look at us like we're nothing. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it before. Some of you don't pay attention to it because it doesn't apply to your life. And, that's cool. Lucky you. I understand that. you know, But generally speaking, the perception of the black man is not that great. And just we'll get more into it. So yeah, as you walk in, Phil, Brad, what's going on? Dang one, I don't do sloppy seconds as a black man. That is very well your business, sir. Yeah, like I said, just make sure y'all pressing like, man. Really, really, really digging. Everybody is up in here. So yeah, let's start with the most obvious thing. And I'm gonna go before I get started. I'm gonna say that I have not been to the movies to check the movie that is the hot topic. You know, I just and really to be honest, to be brutally honest, I'm probably not gonna go see the film. I probably will wait till it comes to a home platform. So what could I tell you is the movie is good or not? Then that would not be fair to say because I'm not going to go see the film. I probably end up going to see Black Panther 2 because I've just always been a Marvel Comics fan, and I know there's plenty of people saying, "Oh no, not that either," but still. But yeah, the Woman King. The Woman King is kicking up dust because everybody's, you got one side that just wants to enjoy it as a film, as they say, let us enjoy it, let's not make it a debate. And then we got the other half that's historically inaccurate, saying that the movie is historically inaccurate and it's an insult to the history of that particular um, place. So, yeah, it's all about the whole letting little things divide us because at the end of the day, it's just a film. And let's put that out the way. I'm not trying to blow the conversation, by trying to say, "Hey guys, you shouldn't pay so much attention to this right here." But you shouldn't get so worked up about it. Maybe I'm not being that empathetic because it's like I said, it's just a movie, but it's starting to answer the question for me. Um, that I've always asked when I hear these things that people say on the internet, like representation and diversity, those buzzwords that seem to get everybody's attention to signal to people that this is something that you probably need to listen to, even though it's been said uh, hundreds of times, and to remind you again. That's how it is for me when I hear about these discussions about representation and diversity. They get tiresome. I get tired of hearing about it. But at the same time, it's just like I don't know. Every other little thing is destroying my childhood. I don't know. I guess it just doesn't bother me that much because I don't know. Once they did that butcher job on Transformers, which I didn't think the films were that bad, but based on me being a fan and how they change up shit, God, it was disgusting. But anyway, um, let's talk about this Woman King thing. It has this cookie cutter formula. My biggest problem is probably not the movie itself, because like I said, I haven't watched it. I don't have any plans to watch it because I don't have to go see a film. I don't have to watch a film. None of you do. None of us. But from what I can see is if people are allowed to have problems such as historical inaccuracies and portrayal of characters and such, then they have every right to do so. So, Can't See in Red was a Best of Women King. I thought that was Killer Croc. That's Viola Davis. One, and I mean, this movie, from what I can see before anyone steps in the theater, is that this is it's not like all the way black. I would say it's not all the way handled by black. It's a movie that's been brought to the big screen by a white person, and I can see how some people have a problem with that. I even have a minor problem with that too. Maybe a major problem is this thing where people keep saying that they're writing our stories for us. We're not telling our stories; they're telling our stories, and they're giving up a kind of a messed up interpretation, kind of like a I don't know how people talked about Quentin Tarantino doing Django Unchained, making slavery into uh, what did Spike Lee describe it as a spaghetti western. And when you make movies about time periods in history, it should be treated with more sensitivity, more reverence. Like what you're basically trying to do is honor the time period by being as accurate and as close to the truth as possible instead of trying to push a narrative. And that's what gets on my nerves about a lot of this shit. Female empowerment, I don't really care about that. People can. Here's one thing everyone has to understand: people pretty much roll with what they want to roll with, and it's their freedom to do so. No one's shit should have to be pushed on anyone else. And, that should go both ways. From what I hear, I watched about three reviews, like I said, and I watched spoiler reviews as well. Like I said, I really don't care about this film, but I've gotten different interpretations. I mean, one person said it was excellent. One person said that they had a headache and they had to go get a drink afterwards after watching the film because to them it was that bad. And another person said we should boycott this film. I don't know if a successful boycott is possible in a land full of billionaires that just got money to throw away, such as making films like this. But I mean, give it your best shot. Viscount Crypto 76 said it was produced and directed by white women. I think someone on the production staff. I think that's higher up, like a writer. I think another writer was. I think she's a black woman. So I don't know. She might be mixed or whatever. People like to make an issue of that, but at the same time, yeah. But anyway, yeah, just like I said, not in a rush to see the film, and people have whatever reasons they want to have, just like they had whatever reasons they want to have on Birth of a Nation. I mean, like if we remember what a mess that was, that was a movie that was boycotted. I mean, it was boycotted into the ground. It was it was around that time that we started saying conveniently. And this film had a buzz. I remember like 2 years before it was actually available for people to see because it was being boycotted from theater to theater. They were trying to shut the film out. It was not being shown in certain places, so that's why it had such a low growth. I mean, gross. Uh, I mean, the movie made like I think 7, $8 million because it had limited viewings, and then a lot of the places that the movie was being shown, uh, feminists were boycotting outside of the theater. But that's a whole deep story. It's like it was like we moved the goalpost just not to see that film. I saw the film. I had the film on Blu-ray. I'd always thought that it would be, you know, that's a representation of at least a black man who tried. He did ultimately fail, but he died like a man in the end. I mean, he died fighting for his people. That's something that black men don't get much of. But about the representation in the media as far as black men, I don't know. I believe that if we want to see the representation done right, if we're having all these complaints, I would have to say that we need to start supporting, content creators that that are into that kind of thing. I'm not saying anybody around here is like shooting films. You might have somebody who has aspiration to do that, but that's the only way at this time that I can see us controlling our image as black men. I just don't see a good one. I mean, obviously, you see the people who are doing good with that, as opposed to people like Nate Parker, and they seem to be in the opposite gender, and that's cool if they want to assimilate them into the system because they've done great about their loyalty to whoever. Then that's fine. That's fine because that makes it clear what our next move should be. Because like the system that that kind of stuff operates in obviously doesn't work for us as black men. D Rock, then thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate it. But let's talk about the other side for a second and how there are a few people out there that are suggesting that this kind of representation, such as race swapping, which I gotta admit, race swapping a character, you know, the reaction from racists, the reaction from uh people of a particular race that is very pale, have all pitch all these little crybaby fits about a race swap in a fictional character, which is very funny. By the way, I mean, if you're arguing about fictional characters, unless they are legendary legacy resonant characters like comic book characters that's been out for comic book characters that's been out for decades, then you know no need to make any drastic changes there. But of course, that's been another story as of late for those of you who read comic books. Um, but let's talk about the other side of this, and your position as a black man. You understand that when you are in these types of media, that you are not represented well. I thought the Nate Parker, Nat Turner representation. I thought that it was about as good as you're gonna get as far as a story with Nat Turner because we're the types that we don't want slave films, but then we'll go see Harriet and we'll go see a film about a big contribution to that narrative that we say we no longer want to see on the big screen or presented anywhere like television shows, or we don't even want to see the narratives about us turning the tide and fighting for our freedom because they want you niggas out there to be scared as fuck of them. Everything that we do seems to coincide with everything that they do. Afro Troop TV, what's going on? Good to see all of you guys in the building. Please make sure that you are pressing like. Now, let me get to the mermaid. Let's get to Haley Bailey. Let me say this right now. I do not have a problem with the casting of Haley Bailey in the role of Ariel for The Little Mermaid. I don't. Let the old girl make her money. It's not her fault. Then again, a little bit, but not to the degree where we let racists get away with being racist. I mean, I'm always against that in any form. And my in my perception, excuse me, I believe that black folks need to get on code for this is let's not get it wrong. This is not something created by blacks. If it is, correct me. If somebody knows better than me, correct me. I'm not above that. But if I'm not mistaken, this is not created by black people. So why should we be worried about who they put in their film? But, because of the profound impact of something that is becoming, quite frankly, a media circus, and this kind of thing is pointed for children. Those of us black men who are, present and great fathers, um, are we to be concerned about what kind of messages that this kind of thing sends to our children? Now, the TikTok video. Now, I'm not going to sit here and complain about a bunch of little girls that found that clip or that teaser, as they call them, from the Little Mermaid. I'm not going to say that, complain about that, even if I feel the little girl saying she's brown like me might have been fabricated. Like, let's keep it real. What kid really focuses on that? I mean, kids are kind of innocent. They're smarter than we think, but it's just that if it's true, it's true. I'm wrong and I'm a jerk. But just if it isn't true, if I'm wrong, I'm a jerk. But if it is true, then we just should not use children for our own little agendas. It just doesn't look right, and we see plenty of examples of children being used in agendas every day. And I think it's very sad that we as adults let that kind of shit slide. I mean, if it's not your kid, I'm not asking you to be concerned. But if it's my kid, I'm wrestling with it right now. What if my daughter comes to me and say, "I want to go see that film. I want to go see Little Mermaid." I'm gonna take her to see Little Mermaid. Yeah, I've seen some signs of discernment, from my little kid, even though she's young. You know, as a parent, if you understand, you got to stay one step ahead of them. Don't overestimate, but don't underestimate either. But if you are somehow a pro black, and I don't really consider myself pro black, you got to be wrestling with this unless you're not a true pro black. And I'm not trying to, like I say, I'm not trying to sway you into feeling a certain way. Little girl can sing. She can sing. You know. But there's just a couple things that kind of, if we're gonna talk about race and the kind of messages that send, and there's just diversity and representation going on that you want to get out there. I think that the message that this particular film is gonna send is gonna be very confusing for people. In fact, is going to be confusing enough to put people at odds about how they feel about their own selves and their own color. And I mean, little stupid shit like this is concerning because we let every form of media influence our way of life. People don't want to think that they're that frail and they're that easy to program. But just be honest with yourselves. Most people get their style from TV, so you don't think they get mannerisms too. So a lot of us are strong enough to see through that. Hopefully, to all of those that are listening, you are one of those people. Chaos Rain, what's going on? Hybrid Catastrophic Impact, X83rd Power, Yakuza series, Generation Official. What is up? Yeah. So I watched the original Little Mermaid. My parents, when we were younger, my parents bought the VHS tape for my sister, and I watched it, and I enjoyed it. It was a little entertaining, little cartoon. Yeah, but I remember the premise of the story. Since we want to talk about this little race swap here, what I'm saying, And this is not coming from a place of all of those flaky white supreme, well, not, I guess they just, whatever you want to call them, WS soldiers or, you know, nationalist or, what y'all like to call conservative, Republican, whatever, having a complaint about the race swap because, yeah, they made many memes. I mean, you know how a group of motherfuckers feel when you see all the memes they make about it, and then they put it out there on their Twitter Spaces, on their Facebook Spaces. Yeah, I remember the first time I ever saw like a racist Dindu meme. That's like the really ugly black face. Was it was a black woman that posted a meme with a dude that was a Dindu and a Klansman shaking hands. I hate black women. I hate black women too. That's what the meme said. And then they would hug. And I was like, yeah, this is funny to the sick motherfucker. But they did a Little Mermaid meme like that. And it confirmed what I had always knew about that. That whenever I saw that meme on Facebook or anywhere, it confirmed what I always knew. Though that face, that particular piece of artwork, I wish I had the visual for. I thought about it. If I had thought about it, I would have put it on this slideshow. But it confirmed that I was right. That came from white supremacist websites. That kind of imagery. Maybe earlier than that. Looked like something that they used to put on propaganda pamphlets back in the 20s and the 30s. Shoot, with the words "nigger go home" on there. And I was always not very happy about black people using that against other black folks. Tell us how you feel. But anyway, I saw that as the Little Mermaid's face, and I was like, "Ha! See, that's how they feel about you. That's how they feel about you. That's how they feel about you. You think they just feel that way about black men? They feel that way about black women too. You're an N word to them, and you don't want to realize that because you feel like your vagina can cure racism. If I could just give them a little vagina, and we would get to that little sentiment in a little bit. Just kind of help me remember it. Go ahead, let her rip. Hybrid, catastrophic impact, X83rd power. But she thick, Kev. So, anyway, see, yeah. So you got all that racial backlash, from white people that feel like that their representation is being taken from them because I heard. Cause I ain't gonna say I heard, and like I said, I wish I had the screenshot so people won't think that I'm lying. But fuck it, who cares? There was this Caucasian guy that made a post. I think it was like a tweet because I see all kinds of dumb tweets every time I log into Facebook. Everybody posts the screenshots, and this guy was like, representation is important to white men too. Why try to take anything from us? And I'm sitting up there like, are you fucking kidding me? Guy, whoever this guy is. Let me show y'all something. Oop, bloop. Why is the white man sitting up here because of the black mermaid talking about his representation is somehow being threatened? Huh? How? How are we doing this? Yeah, I'm talking about the racists right now, because they say, you talk about black people, you talk about nobody else. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about anybody. And I don't need to prove it to anyone either. But I just got a question for, some Caucasian man out there that might feel like that his representation is being taken. Is the world not enough? You get your women, you get they women. No, I don't really care about that. Let Brad cook. Seriously. I mean, if anything, for a backlash like that, uh, 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 uh and the clip got ratioed on YouTube. It's over 2 million dislikes. You think all of them are white women? No. I mean, some would like to believe that. Some would like to believe it's all Becky's and Karen's and Heather's and they would like to believe that, but no, it's a lot of Chucks and Chads and Brads and Thorntons and all kinds of guys like that as pressing dislike because that's how they really feel about you. And I'm not trying to scare uh, a potential swirler out of swirling or someone who's currently doing it. I have no intention of doing that. I have no intention of shaming any kind of female sack chaser, whatever her ilk is. I have no intention of shaming her from trying to go get her a Brad. I don't care. I don't care. But if you want to get one, this is what you got to think about. These guys have these mentalities. They got these racist mentalities, and they got these old I'm not being snowflake mentalities. I'm not being represented. So you take a dive a little bit into this film since a lot of people didn't know anything about it. I did. I did a video a year ago when I first heard about it and noticed a pattern in how media portrayals were. And I'll probably put that one in my community tab after this broadcast so you guys can check it out. But it's like for seeing the clip of her singing "Part of This World," better than the original because that's just what we do. We add a little style to everything. We add a little soul. We add a little flavor because that's who we are as black people. We're trendsetters. We're great like that. And you ninjas out there need to accept it because that's she won the movie makers over singing that song. So she did it and she did it well. So let's give her a hand. But I'm not saying you got to support this film. You got to go see it. This is Disney. These are the same people that bought you that show She-Hulk. And yeah, I got some questions. Let's just be brutally honest. Does Disney hate heterosexual black men? I mean, look, Black Panther 2 coming out, and I don't know if you've heard, but they use that opportunity to go ahead and get rid of their they strong black male representation. Shoot, maybe M'Baku will do something. I seriously doubt it though. But that's cool. You just at the end of the day, you don't have to support any of this. Angela C. So the prince is white. Yes, the prince is white. And guess what? Ariel's dad, King Triton, he's white also. But they did the mama black though. So you know, so you, so you can say like your mama black according to this. Anyway, up from the norm 18. What's going on? RPM said Shuri is the new Panther. I bet they already announced it. They already announced it. They said Shuri is the main character. So she'll be taking up the mantle of Black Panther. So this, I mean, I knew it was coming. I mean, it was in the plan anyway. They was going to move T'Challa to the side anyway and let that woman lead. Like I said, Disney does not like strong black males. Period. I mean, Captain America or Captain Virtue Signaler. I mean, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was good. That was a good show. That was a good show. Kind of, they Falcon and the Winter Soldier did some things right. You know, some people still saying I don't know why a black man would ever want to be Captain America, but you know they probably do a good job with that. And then that New World Order that they got coming out that might be decent. They got another Hulkified character in there, the leader. If you know anything about that, which is why I'm so disappointed in She-Hulk. So, but that's let's not get into that. We can never have a black prince and princess together. Not in Disney. Nope. Let me put that one up there for a second. Let that resonate. Yeah, I mean, and that's the truth. And I mean, like it's by design. I mean, even with the father still being I mean, I get it. I get kind of why they didn't make the father black as well. Is because that would have caused that would cause a double conflict. Imagine if we're talking about this right now. She was like, "Damn." In a way, they want her to walk away from being black all the way. So they had to, kind of make the father white. I guess that's the logic right there. But still, we know what they're trying to say. They don't like the image of black men in power. you know. And I would almost not have a problem with taking my daughter to see this film. Like I said, I'll probably take her to see it anyway. You know, everything ain't about me, and I understand that everything ain't made for me, but I do understand that imagery is important, representation is important because we make it important. We made it important forever. And when you're people that don't have an identity, there's it sets this dangerous precedence for people to decide it for you, and it could be a more powerful group. And this is why I believe there's a lot of the where a lot of the resentment is coming from. Yeah, but I gotta admit this is this is pretty silly imagery. It's silly imagery because that girl is a fucking fictional creature, a mermaid. Ain't nobody. I mean, unless it's some shit we don't know about out there, some kind of government experiment, there ain't no mermaids out there. So yeah, that is pretty much ridiculous within itself. And yeah, for full grown adults that can see everything that's going on, it's pretty ridiculous to have repeated arguments about this. Because by now we ought to know what people in power do with the image of the black man or the image of black love or the image of the black family. We already know they don't want it. So it has to be pretty much on us, the people who are central to this space. And some folks out there I know that does it that we don't know about. It's up to us to maintain that image. Why the fuck do we expect Disney to do it? Disney's always try to put out little fucked up messages. Why are we trusting Disney now? Hell, when my parents got us that Little Mermaid um, VHS back in the day, they got it for my little sister. That was the cover that had the penis on it. Shoot, I don't know yet. They went, back in the tinfoil days of YouTube, they pointed that out a lot. That the Little Mermaid videotape cover, like in the towers, like there was one tower that was shaped like a dick. I mean, like it was undeniable. It was so obvious that in later editions they edited that out. And we a lot of what we accuse Disney of came from stuff like that. And I believe that they had a representative or two say that they're okay with grooming, which is very scary within itself because nobody wants to get rid of their biggest childhood uh uh uh, uh biggest childhood characters like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck based on some sick shit that nobody wants to see. So yeah, why are we trusting? Why are we trusting Disney with our heroes? Why are we trusting media with our heroes or with our images or representations, as we like to say? If they want a virtue signal, if they want to send fake signals, um, to certain people who like seeing imagery such as you know the woman king and watching this image that was the brain. I mean, this is a movie that was the brainchild of a white woman. Let me see if I can find that. Shaka Nulu, what's going on? See if I can find that real quick. Bear with me, people. I should have it put up. But I mean, damn, because this is what they mean when say that other folks are telling our story, and unfortunately, a lot of us don't care. A lot of us don't care because we just want to be happy. We just want to be happy for the people. We want to be happy for black women. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I would like to. I would like if I'm to be happy for you. I like it to be based on something that isn't false. I'm sure y'all understand that, but people have gotten very far lying to people. It's sad. So I'm trying to find this person right now. Oh, yeah, I found her. We say so much about Karen, but we sure let Karen in a whole lot. All right, so let me share the screen, take this down, and everybody who's watching right now, please go ahead. Shaka Nula said, "Might as well have a black He Man." I mean, yeah, might as well, but it doesn't make it any less lazy. I like for us to be creative and not have to piggyback off of other people's creations. Create our own and support the people who do that. Yes, that is the creator of the Woman King right there. That woman in the middle is Dana Stevens. Would you like to show you notification? No. Yep. That's who has that's who has the wheel. I would say those are the ones who control the narrative. Those are the ones who throw these good, new, and fresh ideas. And you know what? It seems as if many people are okay with this. Many of our people. And, I always pose questions like, do we really need white acceptance in order to feel good, for our self esteem to be high? I don't believe so, but, I guess with a lot of you guys, it's true. I mean, I understand and I get it that, we're not the same. All of us aren't the same. We try to meet some type of middle ground in order to exist amongst each other, but it's pretty sad when people who look like that get to make decisions on what kind of narratives will be represented as far as our history. And a lot of us don't understand that. I mean, groups, other groups of people, they get to tell their narratives how they want. They have all the control, but we're the only people that don't seem to mind that someone else is doing it. Oh yeah, her name is Dana Stevens. So I mean, I don't hop on board. I'm not gonna get in your way if you want to go check out this film. How can I get in your way anyway? all y'all have to say is move out the way, you fucking asshole. But is I ain't gonna rush to see it. If I happen to catch a bootleg, I'll probably watch it then. Or I'm probably gonna regret this. You guys can say, "Hey, Kev, go see the movie." Now, in particular, is there anything wrong with them uh, writing stories about black people or making up stories about black people? I mean, as long as they're good, there's nothing wrong with that. But acting like, you know, handling historical accounts, I think we need to pay more reverence and more respect to that. I mean, people. I mean, this movie. I've seen so many internet historians making making comments on social media posts on Facebook and Instagram. You know, I know just about everything about the Dahomey tribe now. 20%. That's the one. That's the one number I keep in mind, and I know that we don't like stats too much, but they say 20% of the slaves that were traded came from the Dahomies. So, and the portrayal in the film was as if, from what I understand, they were spoilers for anyone that wants to go see this film. You might want to close your eyes, but see, you're gonna know about it as much as I do. That they were being portrayed as liberators, and it was one of those men bad affairs. Now, let me. Okay, let me stop sharing this. No need to have her on the screen anymore. Yeah, Angela C. Do your research. Do your research. Do your research. That is my suggestion to any one of you. Do your research. If you care about history, if you care about the historical accuracies and inaccuracies, and is this movie consistent or inconsistent with history, uh, my suggestion is, yeah, that you thoroughly do your research. And is once again, representation is not reparations. We'll get to reparations in a minute, and talk about the clarity, but is just like, I don't know. I'm not going to support something just to support it because it's black, even though we should. And there's many examples of things that did not get support because they were black. I get it, but it also has to be good. You also have to be real and authentic. You also have to be a person that's delivering a good product. Because I get it. You walk into a black business, you extra critique it because it's a black business, and if it fucks up, guess what? It's a black business that fucked up. And I understand that. Also, I understand how messed up that is for the consumer to not support the black business based on an extra judgy critique. But then again, the black business is not entitled to anything. It's not. It's not something that you have to patronize. They have to sell themselves to you, just like they have to sell themselves to anybody else. Just like most of us will walk into a business run by other ethnicity and just not even give it a second thought. Just give them the money and that's it. So I'm just letting you know the things that exist in our world may not be the case for everybody, but hey, it's a case for enough people for me to fucking mention it. So okay, let me. Uh, yeah, man. Look. This is a classic example on this screen right here of how you should not ever just care about just representation. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing a serious film, like, as serious as a documentary, care and research and reverence for the people in the historical account. I don't mind seeing that. And I felt as if that's how they should have treated Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, well, when at least when I was growing up, I don't know what some of you ninjas are on right now, but as far as I grew up with, Harriet Tubman should be respected for her contribution to the liberation of blacks during the what I can say is the worst time period in black history. I don't know. Some may argue it might be present day because black people are so disunion and disillusioned, and you got the young people with no direction out here killing each other, which is a problem within itself. But we're talking about the ownership of one human being to another. You know how low and insulting that had to have been for such laws to exist. So let me just keep it and put that on your mind right there before and this goes for any period in history where black people were trying to move forward, like Tulsa, like the civil rights movement, like the Black Panther movement, even though that broke down fucked up. I mean, all of these efforts broke down fucked up. But you got to understand, they were successful efforts for a minute, and they were from people who tried, black men and black women. Black men played a very important part, and I can't emphasize that enough. All these smug ass people, oh, they know so goddamn much. Oh, it wasn't like this. This is bullshit. No, this is how this period really went. What I'm saying, and it's like you have people that have written books, and I know people try to use history as a weapon in these spaces. But let's be honest, a little reading will solve a lot of problems around here. If you read a little bit, you would understand that things were not the way that the people on TV presented it, or at least some of it. So let's talk about this bastardization right here. Because, quite frankly, the Woman King is a bastardization of history. Some of you may not agree. Some of you may be like, well, man, stop being bothered. Let's just let people enjoy stuff. Yeah. And I mean, like, people brought up good points. Nobody talked about the historical inaccuracies of 300. I mean, yes, they did. They put it in documentaries on A&E just because your ass didn't watch it. Shoot. I mean, damn. People's arguments can be broken down and debunked so easily because they live in their own little sphere of existence. They don't consider reality. But I get where they're coming from with it. In order to enjoy something, do you care about the historical inaccuracies? Now, with that being said, Lupita Nyong'o was originally slated to be in this film. Because of the mishandling of the history and the sensitivity of it, Lupita Nyong'o left the project. She didn't want to be a part of it. Just so I'm talking about the Woman King. I know Harriet's on the screen. So I consider, and the Peter Nwongo is from Africa, so somebody close to that, is hit kind of hit her in the chest, kind of hit home. So when they talk about representation, they got to understand what that representation means. And I don't believe that they understood what the fuck they were doing with this, and the whole the whole like the homie tribe, their history happened way more recent than 300 Spartans. So just to put that out there as well. But yeah, let's get to Harriet. Harriet was not a great film, but it was not put out to be a great film. And let me tell you why. It was just another way to divide black men and black women due to the presence of two fictional characters. One of them was Janelle Monae's character, Maria, and the other character is the guy on the screen, Bigger Long. Neither one of those characters existed, and for me, uh, it took down the seriousness of the film because once I saw how the characters both the characters carried on, uh, it was just it was very divisive. It was a very divisive. It made it a very divisive piece of shit film. It made it the usual, I would say. In fact, when Maria and Bigger Long interacted in the film, he was beating her. He beat her to death, actually. Spoiler for people, but the film's been out for about 2 3 years, so sorry, it just slipped. Um, yeah. So I was like, so the only purpose of those two characters were basically it is what they call dramatic effect. What's going on, Greg? Dramatic effect. Trying to send a message in a more powerful way by bending the truth or just flat out lying. That a nicer word for that is fiction. This is why a film about Harriet Tubman, which should have received better treatment than what it received. You got British American actress Cynthia Erivo. Now I don't even know if she's British American. I'm sorry if that's wrong. I know she's British. A lot of people had to complain about that. Now we're getting back to the representation piece. Why couldn't they get an American actress? Why did they get a British actress? And here's my theory on getting foreigners, like foreign blacks, to do American black roles that deal in our history in that volatile, violent, shameful time period. They get the this is just theory now, but listen to it, it makes sense. They get those actors so the actors won't be so emotional about the gravity of the role that they're playing. Whether they feel a connection to the American black or not, they did not have our experience. You know, they did not have our experience. So the empathy goes so far. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I mean, I could be wrong. So, and Harriet Tubman is such a serious figure to our history as it's being told. Because people have been trying to make up conspiracy theories like Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner did not exist. I don't know if any of you have heard anyone say anything like that, but I've seen it a few times. Mm. This just should have been treated a little bit better than the you know than the way it came out. But representation. What African American actress could have played Harriet Tubman? I wonder. Does anybody have any suggestions in the chat? Do y'all know something I don't? But I will say this: Cynthia Erivo played a cute Harriet Tubman. I mean, you take that how you want to take it, but it's true, facts. They couldn't find an American black woman who couldn't wear weave. Oh God! Oh, I needed that. I needed that. Angela Bassett. No, she kind of old. I mean, she's aged gracefully, but she ain't aged that gracefully. You probably need to like you probably like no disrespect to Angela Bassett. She's still fine. I mean, but I don't know. Angela Bassett's probably, in fact, yeah, that's it. She probably too fine to play her. Plus, I mean, Angela Bassett, like I said, no knock to her. Is she really that great an actress? Like the way she played Katherine Jackson, Joe Jackson's wife. Damn you! It's like, come on, Kerry Washington, too pretty. I mean, I'm not trying to just shoot that stuff down. You saying, Greg, but I mean, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, it. I don't know. They probably could have got Kerry Washington. I mean, as long as she was able to offer the acting chops to play Harriet Tubman. I mean, shit. I would like to see a serious movie about Harriet Tubman if they're going to make another attempt because this attempt was ass. This shit was garbage. I mean, that's just my opinion. If you thought it was an epic film, you're allowed to think that. If you think you should be just supporting something because it's black, All right, now I'm gonna do something for the OGs in here. If you're like 18 years old, you're probably not gonna know about this next shot I'm about to put up. But I'm just gonna prove. I'm gonna disprove something for people who know anything about something like this. See, you see that on the screen right there. This is evidence that just because something's black doesn't mean we gotta support it. And it's a damn shame I had to use this in order to get that point across. This is Meteor Man. This is a black superhero. Yeah. When they say make original black characters instead of tokenizing them, race swapping, like the Little Mermaid. Um, my only thing is if you're going to do that, you need to make it a good attempt. Don't bullshit with it. And this was not a good attempt. I think Meteor Man was actually created by Robert Townsend. Even when I was a kid, when I watched this film, I didn't think this film was that great, and I didn't like. And it wasn't. I don't believe it was because of our disconnect from our own, supporting our own people. I just believe that this would be fair to say that this wasn't that good. I mean, Robert Townsend, good guy. I mean, he stayed in the business. I mean, long enough. I think he had something to do with Black Lightning. You know, what's wrong with Meteor Man? I like Meteor Man. I don't know. I don't know. I guess because Bill Cosby was kind of stupid in that film. That was number one. Number two was I don't think that like the bad guys with the blonde hair. I thought they were whack. Uh, I thought him getting hit by a meteor and not dying was kind of cheesy. I mean, it just all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's my opinion. Just like y'all have y'all opinion. Y'all like that movie. You say I thought it was funny. Did you read the comics? Oh damn, shit, damn y'all actually told you. See, there's a difference. There's a difference between me and other people. I just said that this was kind of ass, and these folks was like, motherfucker, what's wrong with Meteor Man? I like Meteor Man. Did you read the comics, motherfucker? I thought it was funny. He was a teacher in Black Lightning. I think he actually like had something to do with the creation of the show as well. The soundtrack was good. Yeah, it had that Shanice song on there. Yeah, a lot of like it's like no matter like if the black movie back then was good or bad, it always had a good soundtrack. I think that we did better as far as soundtracks back in the day and involving ourselves that represented us. I mean, shoot, this like shit. Meteor Man, I'm not gonna back off from my stance. I still like and one part that I didn't like kinda was him losing his powers at the end. Like he was like, "Oh, my powers are going away. Oh, my powers are going away again." It's like, how super is that superhero? But maybe I'm just hating. But I'm glad to at least see you guys supported it. We support each other. Okay. Shoot, Dane One naming quite a few down there, but Dane One, you're a comic book creator your damn self though. Yeah. See what this is. Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 I don't know if y'all know who this guy is. Said, but Bill Cosby gave the power back. Yeah, he gave the power back, and then Robert Townsend lost the power again. It was like Robert Townsend had this. I mean, well, Meteor Man. I mean, had this like had this gas tank that for meteors and shit inside of his body or something. Or maybe it's like maybe I need to read the comic books or try to look for the comic books online. But I'll get more into it. But like I said, I had my thoughts about it. Y'all had y'all thoughts about it. Y'all liked it. I didn't like it somewhat. I guess maybe because I thought of Meteor Man as like the other superheroes. Like they made Superman able to do stuff like keep his powers. Batman he can stay just as cool. The Hulk he get to keep his powers. Meteor Man didn't get to keep his powers. And then even with like a creation like Hancock. Hancock, there was a catch 22 to his powers. For those of you who saw that film, and that film's been out since 2005. So yeah, it's like whenever him and his love or his intended love get too close to each other, they start falling in love again. But then they start losing their powers, and somehow, some kind of way, some old douchebags always find their way to them and kill them, and then they get reincarnated, do the whole process over again. Yep. But if only Meteor Man could have kept his powers. That was my whole thing. That was my whole thing. Only Meteor Man could have kept his powers. I see. Figure like you getting hit by a meteor from outer space. You absorb the meteor like you were made to survive the meteor collision, and you lose your powers, knowing that there won't be a Meteor Man 2 or anything. But I mean, with fiction, you could have fixed that, like doing something like, well, the meteor stuff that came from outer space that it affected your DNA, so you can use your powers. Like, Greg said, can't deny Hollywood Shuffle was the joint to bump. Oh yeah, Robert Townsend was a really good creator. Like Partners in Crime, that's my favorite stuff. When he did Partners in Crime, I'm not hating the man. Oh, the Parenthood too. Robert Townsend, he did a lot of other stuff. The Five Heartbeats. I mean, people don't usually hit the bullseye on all these stuff. Just kind of like Meteor Man didn't hit the bullseye on, like exactly. Yeah. Let me move on. All right, now this guy right here. This guy's Eric July. Uh, he got famous like overnight, and he had been a YouTuber for years and years and years. In fact, I believe from the date that he said he joined YouTube, um, he was I think he said it was like 2006, 2007. He's been doing it ever since he was like 14, 15, something like that. 16, 15, 16. That's still young. And I mean, like, you're doing it in the beginnings of YouTube. Excuse me. So, he has a YouTube channel, Young Ripper 59. Got like 500K subscribers. I think some of you already know this story. Um, he was one of the guys that like didn't like. Nah, he doesn't like the cheap tokenization of comic book characters. When I mean cheap tokenization, meaning that they're making characters certain things just to check off some boxes, or to virtue signal, or try to pander to a certain audience. And this is what we've been seeing a lot lately as far as this representation goes. Um, I'll keep it short. I'll keep it short. Um, yeah. So, and he did video after video after video. He's been doing this for years, talking about tokenization. In fact, he stated that She-Hulk is the best handled tokenized character. Like, she was a very interesting character in the comic books. She had hurdles, she had challenges. She was it was just decent. It was good. And I read a couple She-Hulk comics. I guess the couple that I read were kind of boring, but you know, it was meant to tell a story. Maybe I'd had some better understanding of it if I read it when I was older. But anyway, what's been happening in the comic books in the past few years is just that, yeah, just that like tokenization. People injecting their personal politics into certain things, which is a lot of the reason why many will not support movies like The Woman King, because instead of being somewhat historically accurate and understanding and realizing that it's not just about you, it could be about the descendants of those very people that you're making the movie about. You know, so it's just there's a lot of bad tokenization, and he had been kind of saying he's a big comic book fan. He hates the fact that characters his favorite characters changed to the point where they were unrecognizable anymore. You know, sexuality swapping a lot of the guy characters, then turning around giving a lot of the female characters male traits. It's crazy, man. I don't really even read like Marvel comics and DC comics. So what this man did was he created his own comic book. I think he's okay as far as money is concerned. I mean, having his YouTube channel, which by the way, gets a lot of viewership, and he has other ventures as well. He's also the leader of a rock group. I mean, I know that a lot of black people, they was like, "Ooh, black man rock group." No, man, it's people doing all kinds of shit out here. People should step outside their houses and go see. So just for those people who do that, I mean, dude does pretty good for himself. So what he did was he invested in making his own comic book. He's had a passion for writing and had a passion for creating characters. I mean, despite like a lot of people don't agree with his political views, but is just like I said, just give the guy a listen. And you ain't gotta agree with everybody's political views, because like a lot of y'all favorite white actors, their political views, ain't worth a shit. But anyway, instead of him always just like I would say complaining about horrible represented characters, even if they were white and they were his favorite characters, and not being made to believe that he has to support a black character just because they're black, because this guy actually doesn't like Miles Morales Spider-Man. A lot of people like Miles Morales. He said he doesn't because it's like other than it's like his argument is that Miles Morales is like a nothing but a black Peter Parker, and that's it. He decided that he wanted to go ahead and create his own comic book. And to the left is the character he created named Isom. Now, why he's named that, I guess that when his book comes out, that he'll explain the name of the character. But he opened up a campaign and he set a goal at $1 million, and he gave himself something like 12 weeks to do it or something like that. And he wasn't really expecting as much as he got. He expected a certain amount. He had the resources on standby to brace himself for an emergency of sorts or something like that. But he gave himself like a lot. I think like 70 some days. I think it was like days to make $1 million off this. So what his thing is, he want to make enough money to put things in place to make more of these books. And he says he's already working on the second book. But what he's doing is he's building his own comic book universe instead of people who don't care about the original creator's vision and try to respect the legacy of the characters. Want to turn like normally masculine characters into gay folks, and just swapping the races and stuff like that. And I do see how, like, it is fiction. Like, at the end of the day, it is something, like, uh just in my perception, ridiculous to argue about. But if it's a person's passion and they really appreciate what it's done for them throughout the years, then I believe they should respect that. I don't want any of my childhood characters ruined. I just talk about how I felt the movies ruined Transformers, and they were my shit when I was a kid. I used to get Transformers for birthday and Christmas. It run deep with me on that. But and I felt like the movies kind of fucked up the story. But I also understand that I'm a person that everything isn't for everyone. But these do make for interesting talk pieces if you're into that kind of stuff. Because I grew up reading comic books as well. My oldest brother, he was big into comic books. He followed them issue to issue to issue. He was one of them guys, and he tells me how much it upsets them that comic books have gone to shit. American comic books. Like, they got like Japanese manga, which is a Japanese comic book. Just it's just read a certain way. Japanese manga is coming in, and they're taking over the American comic book market because the American comic books are fucking trash. But it's yeah, like, I've had favorite characters that they're not handling well, like it either in the comic books or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which up until recently was one of my favorite movie franchises ever. But yeah, but this guy created his own character, and he set out to make $1 million in 70 some days. He made $1 million, I think, in 48 hours, which is one hell of an accomplishment. And right now he's at $3.5 million in his campaign, which means that he had to get a lot of extra books made. And I'm one of those people. I will be getting this comic book. Not just to support a black man, but just to see if you know, he believes in his vision enough to give people what they want as far as the traditional comic book reader that doesn't like to be lectured when they read a fucking comic book or watch a new Disney Plus Marvel series based on a comic book. I think we should support the brother, but see, here's a lot of our problem. We don't see these things as accomplishments. We diminish, and we want a worse image than a guy who is a go getter like this one. I may not agree with everything he says, but at least he's putting his money where his mouth is, and he's not just complaining. He's doing what he feels he needs to do necessary to correct the situation. And that is in his thing is just, well, let me just make my own. And this is what I was saying earlier, as far as if black men want to fix this situation about how we're represented, if we want to, and believe me, it is important who controls these images. Like I said, a lot of people don't like the fact that the Woman King was a white woman's brainchild. A lot of people don't. And that is something that is understandable. And you shouldn't insult people for believing that, you know, for being mad about that. But, this is me kind of saying, hey, you know what? I believe that black men should be supported in whatever we do. So we should support this brother right here. You know, I ordered this comic book, and I'm probably gonna do a review on the other channel, the Black Dimension. I'll do a comic book review. I'll research on how to put together a comic book review and review this one, because I believe that when it finally hits, it's gonna blow the internet open. Because see, people who like represent Marvel and DC, the two giants, and all of their stands, they they're really against this man's efforts. Like, they really are massively hating on him. Uh, he's one of the guys that use like the word woke in the context that I kind of use it in when I'm talking about, what they do to things like what they're doing to things like the MCU. Basically, woke was a term if you were aware of the plight of the average American black person as far as systemic racism and prejudices and discrimination. Which was it if you were a person that was outside of the archetype, then you were considered woke. And and one example of that is inviting certain white folks to the cookout, which I kind of believe that's stupid. But woke in the context I use is the term that got hijacked by a feminist, and all of a sudden it becomes female characters are way better than male characters. They're smarter, they're better, they're faster, they're stronger. They can beat up men 3 4 times at their size. They're just perfect in every way, and like everybody likes them. Everybody likes them. They already have everything. There's no challenges. All they have to do is believe in themselves. And the person that encourages them to believe in themselves is usually the man that they insulted throughout the entire thing. So, yeah, that's what I mean by woke, and I do see that a lot in current media, as far as things that primarily you can tell the difference between um things created by men and things created by women. I'll just put it to you like that. So whenever you hear me use the word woke, I will not use it in the I will not use it in the context that means like black empowerment, black upliftment, black awareness from outside groups. I'm using it in the context of the term that was hijacked by feminists and social justice warriors to, use our plight as a virtue signal for their own agendas. And that's why I hate it so much, and that's why I would agree with a term such as woke being used. I mean, and I know a bunch of snowflake white dudes use that word too. So I mean, shit. But what I'm really trying, Jew Bean, what's going on? What I'm trying to get y'all to see is maybe the ones that, uh, maybe the ones that you need to be trying to keep the power with are black folks, because every time we say something, it ain't because a white person said it. Just want to keep that on your brain. But yeah, this guy went out and made his own comic book, and it became a multi-million-dollar business overnight. So you'll probably be seeing more material from this guy. And some people are talkers, some people are doers. If you want to fix the representation part, sometimes if you want to see some things done right, you got to do it yourself. But the done right part, that has yet to be determined. We still got to get his book, and if his book is good, I'll get the second book. If his book sucks, I'll just say I got the book. I'll just say that. Shoot, yeah. See some of these other slides talk about representation. See, who remembers this? Who remembers this? It's called Monsters Ball. This film right here. I mean, this is the start of a very familiar scene. If the reason why I bring this film up right here is because of what I just explained about the word woke. If this film came out today, this film would be considered woke. Man, they ain't one asking for a link. Let me explain this. I'll go ahead and drop the link, but let me explain this real fast. This movie would have been considered woke if it came out in 2022. Reasons being, look, first off, uh, daddy issue dynamic. And spoilers for those of you who haven't watched a movie that's been out for 20 years. So this is about the movie Monsters Ball. Um, First off, in like when this film started out, this dude Billy Bob Thornton, I think that's his name. Uh, he portrayed this deputy sheriff that was an asshole to his son. You know, then his son eventually ends up killing himself, causing him to have such somewhat of a change of heart. On her side, check, yeah. On her side, her baby daddy or husband, I don't remember if they were married or not. I mean, it's been a while since I watched this movie. He's in prison and he's on death row. The son he's an overweight kid who is an emotional eater and he ends up dying. So that's three folks dying. And one could argue that the son was an emotional eater because his dad was on death row in prison, hiding snacks from his mom. And then the kid ends up dying. Like that's not like that wasn't an easy thing for her to deal with, the father and the son dying. But your male figures got cut out. Billy Bob Thornton's son, played by ironically Heath Ledger, ends up killing himself because um yeah, his father just really just shitted on him. And then you meet Billy Bob's dad, who is a racist son of a bitch. like if like like he can't even poop on his own, but the racism is like young as fucking this guy. So, you know, so fucked up father dynamic all the way around. The baby daddy of Halle Berry, who's played by Sean Diddy Combs, he ends up getting executed. Then the son dies, and then she runs right into the arms of a white man after all of that trauma. Hey, I'm no D police. I just kind of point things out. Then later in the movie, the father insults her by suggesting that his son, just like had sex with her as a rite of passage because he was just he said it just like this. I think that yeah, I always told my son that you're not a man until you dip in a little cocoa. And I guess the pee was so good, he got rid of his father. He put that man in a home. He was like, "Fuck you, bye. I'm tired of this shit. Cause of you, cause of you, I grew up to be an asshole, and I was such an asshole to my son. He killed himself right in front of me." Yep, very anti-father message in this film. Shit, kind of reminds me of this upcoming Little Mermaid. Do y'all remember the premise of the Little Mermaid? By the way, I mean, for those of you who watched it, I know some of y'all did. I can't be the only dude that watched it. I'm past all the bullshit. But the premise, spoilers. I mean, but that movie's been out even longer than the movies I mentioned before. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But the premise was this, if I remember correctly. Okay, Ariel was a mermaid. She had a really beautiful singing voice. So Eric, the prince, I guess he got in some type of danger involving some water, probably almost drowned. She rescues him and she woke him up singing. He falls in love with that singing voice. He saw her kind of like barely saw her in the sun, so she wants to be part of that world. She wants to in fact, while I'm saying this, let me turn back to the other slide. It might be more appropriate. Yeah, that's the guy she rescued, Prince Eric. So, she wants to be part of the human world, the surface world. She's never seen it before. She doesn't want to be a mermaid anymore. Which might be some it might be some underlying transgender message there, but but she goes to the Sea Witch for help because her father is like, King Triton. Because, yeah, that probably would have been an even bigger mess if he was black anyway. Decides, no, you're forbidden to go for the surface world to try to change up and shit. You're not human. You're a mermaid. You don't belong with them. You belong with us. So she goes to the Sea Witch Ursula. So Ursula strikes a deal. She says, look, I'll give you legs. I'll make you human, but you got to leave your little singing voice here. And in order for you to get that singing voice back, you have to make the man fall in love with you. So, are we laughing yet? So, I mean, they go through all of it. They end up falling in love and getting together and all that shit. But she got to chase him around for the entire film without her singing voice and make this dude fall in love. Which, Disney endings are always happy endings. So, in essence, you got to understand that you're going to watch a black girl chase around a white man for over an hour trying to make him fall in love in the ideal position with her fucking mouth shut. and, the reason, like, one of the sub reasons why they probably didn't want a black man to pay this role, because ain't no black woman finna do that for a black man. Keep her fucking mouth shut and act fit, feminine, and friendly just to get you to fall in love. He said a man ain't a man until he splits some black okra. I remember that line from the movie. He said okra? I thought he said cocoa. Well, whatever. It was fucked up. And it had the effect. It was meant to be racially offensive. Alrighty. But I mean, if anyone's hey, Chaos Rain, you there, dog? That man is on mute. He said okra. He said black okra.
What's good?
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm the. Oh, yeah, okra. I understand that reference now. When you split the okra open to get the little thing. Oh God, that make it even worse. Yeah, but what's going on? What are your thoughts, bro? Well, thank you,
Uh,
Greg.
good.
I really appreciate it.
My thoughts personally, I'm looking through Facebook and a lot of women are excited that they watched the movie. They were pleased with this goddamn movie.
Yeah, they were.
And I'm not gonna spend no money watching no fictional thing about something that went on in Africa. I mean, I got books that talk about certain tribes, certain things that our people did to resist slavery. And I'll be honest with you, Kev, they will never do a movie focused on Queen Nzinga.
Oh yeah.
And she's the one out of all that they really kept that they don't really reveal because she went our way because she did fight the Spaniards, especially when they came here to Angola back in 1600s, but she did have some assistance from some of the male natives at the time. So
Okay.
and really the story, if they were going to deal with that, they might as well did her. That would be more presentable. But they took something that no one really either knew or didn't know, and they twisted it a little bit to keep pushing there that you're strong, black, and independent. You're a warrior. When we're gonna watch them, they're gonna feel they're gonna kick more black man's ass. They say, "I'm a warrior queen." They don't understand that we are very accepted to programming.
Yeah, yeah,
Very
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I agree that we are
if
very.
it's gonna empower them more. That's why when you show the thing with the thing with Nate Parker, the
Birth of a Nation.
Reformation that came out 6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And how they went out their way to destroy that goddamn movie. And mind you,
Yeah.
I heard the movie didn't really show what it needed to show. and it tells you they're fine with black women doing the killing, but they want a black man doing that.
Yeah, I heard all kinds of crazy stuff about this film. It's just that it's just that I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna wait till it comes to like a streaming service. It come to a streaming service, and I'll sit down and I'll decide
Yeah, yeah, that's
whether I should continue to listen to motherfuckers who upset about shit.
yeah,
But
you,
as
yeah.
but as far as I can tell, is like for what we complain about, you got to be consistent. You can't just like say that I don't like the historical inaccuracies in Nate Parker's Birth of a Nation, and then you can say that this film right here is so great. When you talk about the Woman King, you're gonna have to be a bit consistent.
Mhm.
But let me get to the reparations part because I want to
Okay.
show y'all this, and I know I'm kind of late in the game. I'm like, damn, and I'm over an hour and a half in. Like, wow. So time flies if you're having fun. Now I don't know if any of y'all saw this. Let me read this to y'all. This is Tony Browder. Uh, uh, he is quoted in saying, "The Woman King is the closest we've gotten to cinematic reparations. It was magnificent. It made me love Africa and it made me love African women more. Did I say it was magnificent?" Now, okay. So okay, I can first off, I love African women because I got Instagram and Facebook, and I see a lot of fucking pictures of but it is they women to me, shit. Is this, I can't love but one woman either, but as far as a general love, yeah, of course, I'm not if but if that's what if a fictitious film, like, well, I mean, it's based on actual history, but if that's what it took to make you love African women more and made you love Africa, uh, then obviously you ain't as black as everyone you try to portray yourself to be. Uh, yeah, yeah, hybrid catastrophic impact X-83rd power. He is serious. He is serious. But the key word is reparations. He said cinematic reparations. And one thing that really, what really I don't like for us to do is to act like that this is somehow making up for all the shit that black people have gone through. It's reparations. And I got the definition. Let me pull it up. Greg, thank you for the super chat. He said he was smoking dope, sniffing coke. Okay, hey, though we don't know that for sure. Those are jokes, and that's what we're supposed to say in response to that. But hey, one could say that might be the case. But let's see. Get a definition of reparations, because reparation has been a big discussion piece as far as the political forward motion of um, blacks, ADOS blacks, foundational blacks. Yeah, this is a conversation that's been going on for a long time, and I don't know if this will ever happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in our lifetime. A payment for the pain and suffering of blacks when our ancestors first came to this country, uh, and for hundreds of years. Well, not hundreds upon hundreds, but I mean, it was. I would say it was about a good 300. Well, many say 400 because they want to include the Jim Crow era. But yeah, let me read this definition of reparation. Says the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. The courts required a convicted offender to make financial reparation to his victim. Okay, that was the example. Or, in the cases that we speak of, payment to the descendants of slaves. Um, Barack Obama pushed an initiative to do this, but only if you could trace your lineage, which is BS because
Barack's
you're
a
dealing
bitch.
because you're dealing with a lineage that didn't know how to, those folks didn't know how to read, and they didn't know how to bookkeep. They did learn eventually, but how can we do that? How can we trace? So it was kind of like I kind of felt like that was some bullshit anyway. But go ahead, name one.
Yeah, and how they should do reparations is not give people money. Do like they did the Indians. Give us sections of land in every state in America. That'd be the perfect reparations.
Uh,
But
so what?
people
They can
want
build
money.
casinos and cheat people out of 100 million
No,
jackpots.
no, we ain't got to build casinos. Black people more creative. Have another Black Wall Street, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you was talking about, the part in the original book from the 1800s, the Little Mermaid was a white woman, but how she couldn't talk is Ursula. It wasn't Ursula. It was just like the sea witch. She didn't have a name. What happened? She cut off her tongue, and when she walked, it was like she's walking on knife blades, and her legs was always in pain.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the original story was dark.
Yeah, the original story was brutal, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but I was referring to the Disney version.
all the Disney bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. The watered down Disney version. Because I
yeah,
mean,
and
I knew of the original tale, and it's still at the end of the day a fictional story. But is the there has been like a racist outcry because you got white folks out there that's upset that the race of the character has been swapped from a white girl to a black girl.
I got upset because why do black people always get the sloppy seconds of these of all this stuff? Captain Afro America. I'm like, dude, come on, really? He was an original character to begin with. Falcon. Falcon was original, but now it's going to be played by a Mexican guy.
But
Falcon's Mexican in the comics, and Captain America is the black guy. I'm like, dude, that's not cool. Just give us our original stuff back. Blade is an original character. And now they're trying to bring it into where, oh, his daughter becomes Blade. Why are they doing that? See, that's
uh,
why I created my comic books. None of
yeah,
my stuff.
absolutely, absolutely, and oh yeah, that is true. They're introducing Blade to the MCU with his daughter, who's supposed to have all his abilities, right?
Yeah.
So the fix is already in for that one.
Yep.
It's yeah, but it's like I said, man. It's these discussions, these arguments, they're becoming quite numerous right now, and it's getting to the point where we have to just. I mean, we have to see these as conversations and just that. Is not is I understand how important it is, especially for a black man with a son, to have proper representative images. Anywhere he sees an image of a black man, you know, it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be a man in a suit. It could just be a productive individual that is about his. It doesn't have to be a preacher or a scientist. Although that would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, but something that it is at least a positive image that's not doing the usual of what they're doing right now every time you turn on a TV. Making the
Yeah.
black character lacking in masculinity, weak, a fucked up guy, or gay. That's how they
Or
portray it as.
Google. Yeah. That's sad. In my comic book in universe, there are no gay people. They gay stuff, no, it doesn't exist. I'm taking it back to the '90s because that was the good. I think that was the best era for comic books. Was the
Oh, back
'80s and
back in the
'90s.
'90s. Yeah,
That,
yeah, late,
that
yeah.
depends. Were you born in the 70s?
Huh?
You were born in the 70s? Okay, you said the
No,
90s.
no. In the '90s, that was the best comic book era. I was born in the '80s.
Okay, and then it makes sense. That makes
Uh,
sense.
Greg, thank you for the super chat once again. Really appreciate it. He said, "But what about Michael B. Jordan playing the $6 billion man? 6 billion? Yeah, yeah. It'll be billion in today's age.
No, there's still tokenization. Give it to like I don't know, give it to somebody like
What
Chris
you
Pine or something.
what Channing Tatum?
Or I say Chris Pine. I think Chris Pine would be a better actor.
Hey, but you know what though? It's like this. I'm not particular about the race swaps. If it bothers racists, yeah, I'll be entertained. But
That's the best part.
yeah. But the $6 million man, I can see how that can be remade with a black man because you got to think about something like the $6 million man. Like ain't nobody gave a fuck about the $6 million man. Well, it was the $6 million man. I guess they're calling it the $6 billion man now. But don't nobody care
Yeah,
about
but
like it. Okay, if they had a show that lasted like 20 seasons,
yeah,
but it's just like it was a television show that I think lasted like one maybe two seasons. Had a couple of TV films and that was it. So
you,
I, to call that one tokenization, you probably could get away with that one. But
yeah.
if you trying to make Batman a black dude, make that man jump from roof to roof like that, then shoot, that might be that's probably much different.
Oh, they already did that in the comics.
Oh yeah.
It's Lucius, yeah, it's Lucius Fox's son,
Well,
Rick.
he's called Batwing. I
No,
don't
it's
he's,
Batman.
he
There's a
maybe in the I don't
in
know
the comic
what
book.
they're doing this way. Oh, that's what they're doing in the comic book right now.
Yeah,
Luke
it's Rick
Fox is
Fox. Rick
Batman.
Fox is Lucius' son.
All right, but let's get back on track. Calling the whole, calling race swaps and it seemed like did this entertainment, genre where famously white characters are becoming black. I mean, if you like that kind of thing, cool, but I don't believe it should be seen as reparations. I think that is absolutely fucking stupid to
Right.
believe that after all the atrocities committed against us, that this kind of makes up for it. I believe you should be insulted if anybody suggests that's what it is.
That's what it is, a flat out insult. Movies don't make up for hoses and dogs.
Uh,
Oh yeah, before anything else, or I get dropped anything, who's your favorite Transformer?
my favorite Transformer is Devastator.
Devastate the Constructibots?
Yeah,
I mean the
the
Constructicons.
yeah the Constructicon combiner G.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He is my all time favorite.
My favorite was Jazz because he was
Jazz.
a brother.
Yeah, Jazz was a Transformer that was voiced by a brother.
Yes,
And then
can't make
voiced,
right.
and then voiced by another brother in the 2007
Yeah,
live
and who is
action
that?
film and got ripped the fucking half in the final battle.
Yeah, and he was a shit Pontiac.
Yeah, a Solstice, a Pontiac Solstice,
Yeah,
a two seater. Like
yeah.
Jazz, when he came to Earth, picked the smallest vehicle to transform into. It's like they made him scrawny, and then
they
like
they
good.
they should have made him into like a Porsche Boxster if they was gonna go for a small car like that,
Yeah,
because that would have been closer to his cartoon identity.
yeah. Oh, Beast Wars. Yeah. Hybrid Beast Wars was real good. Yeah,
I
Beast
never watched it.
Machines, the one that came after, like when they went back on Cybertron, that wasn't that good, but Beast Wars was Beast Wars was great. It was like a surprise hit.
They're making a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Oh,
Beast Wars movie.
oh, Greg. Without remorse. That was. Oh, that was him being a bionic man. Shit, I need. Probably go ahead and watch that shit. Yeah, but what do you think of all the controversy with the Woman King and the Little Mermaid and you know?
I think it's dumb because the Woman King. That's like it's pretty much like a double negative because the woman can't be king and she doesn't. Well, it's pretty much an oxymoron, but it's it's proven to women. It's like okay, feminine masculinity, women acting all tough. And that's what it is. It seems like it's breaking down the whole image of men being strong, saying, "Oh, they can't do it," so that's why there were woman kings, which is a lie because they did it in Thor also. Valkyrie was the king, was the woman king,
Oh yeah.
and I just think it's tacky.
Yeah. Thor: Love and Thunder is completely fictional, but it wasn't very good, and I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Uh,
they pushing
yeah,
that shit.
yeah.
Yeah,
As far as the image of black women, one thing that has to happen is that black women got to care enough about their own image to not want to see themselves portrayed like this. And uh, is an overwhelmingly positive response from black women on this particular film. And one thing you have to understand about them is they fall very easily, with the exception of a few, they fall very easily to virtue signals. Anything that empowers them, especially depicted being stronger and smarter and better than the black man, they're gonna hop on that shit like flies to fucking
yep,
shit. And it's just it is what it is. It's nothing that I would say that black men as a group have to be ashamed of. It's just that black men as a group should understand what their positioning is in a system of white supremacy, meaning that if you allow the supremacy of that system to run your life, then then you deserve everything you get. But if you take advantage of, the freedoms and the opportunities that you have as a free roaming individual, then you will get more fulfillment out of life. And, you're able to make differences where it counts. Just like, old boy who decided to make a comic book and made $3.5 million off the first campaign, which is in my estimation a hell of a thing to do, a hell of a thing to do, and he should be getting all the support in the world. But we have this thing, and the whole point of me even doing this broadcast, we have this thing where we rely more on acceptance of other races. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, we rely on that to help with our self esteem rather than um, this actually meaning something. I would say instead of going to support creators that look like us that can tell our stories better than how they can tell them. But of course, we don't support, and it's almost to the point. And I have to say, if call me someone who hopes all you want, but I'm more in the negative at this point. Yeah, because like for the whole Little Mermaid controversy, the first trailer hasn't even hit yet, and when
but you know,
that first trailer hit, it's gonna be a mess. Go ahead.
what's so crazy that a lot of people don't even understand is Black Panther was created by two Jews. Nobody acknowledges that. How come black people can't do for themselves, can't create something on their own?
Because
That's like,
you got because here's, and I'm not saying this is an excuse, but you have to understand that it is sometimes it's about reach. If you have that kind of reach as far as your influence within the media. You gotta have the right deals. Like a lot of these comic book back then were coming out of newspapers instead of actual books. Black Panther actually was created like 6 months before the first Black Panther Party was established. So Black Panther did not the name Black Panther did not come from the Black Panther Party.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and so yeah, but I see what you're saying. It's someone creating I have no problem with other races creating fictional black characters as long as as I mean, and they can make them into whatever they want, but it's on said groups of people to accept whether those characters are good or not. I mean, like we didn't create Blade either, but that doesn't mean
Yeah,
that
So
doesn't mean
they came out in 1973. Yeah.
yeah, but what you saying? Oh, you're verifying.
But Kev, so you're saying that the Black Panther Party got their concept from a comic book?
I think that at best it's a
the name.
coincidence. I think it's just
The
coincidence.
name is coincidence.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that a movement that tried to make the difference in the lives of blacks, tangible differences that would have helped us systemically. They got their idea from a comic book. I'm not saying that at all. I just believe it's a I think
Well,
it can be proven that it's a coincidence.
I'll say this: a lot of things happen for reasons, and we all know that they were college people that were in college, and reading books, political books. So it's hard for me to really fathom they really invest time in certain comic books at that time, personally. But I could be wrong. But like I said, anything that was formulated months ago before this movie came out in the same year, '66, right? That everything's time at the end of the day. When I look at things that's great, even the X-Men, they followed movements of what black people were doing, and they said we're gonna create characters off of this. Matter of fact, the word on the street is I saw something circling that Kiki want to play Rogue.
Well, that thing's
No,
But my figure is this: there was always something that they were going to think of change some of the characters in X-Men and add black actors.
hold up.
This was during the end of the last movie that they were dabbling about this. Hell, they reached out to one dude. I hear a rumor, a guy that played the bad guy for most of his career, trying to be a hero in Doctor Charlie Xavier Espedo. Fast name, a mixed black man.
Yeah, I know Esposito. I
Yeah,
know you're talking about.
yeah.
But let
Giancarlo
me
Esposito.
So
let me
it seemed to me that they're already going to be dabbling and mixing the characters because they're already talking about it. That means they're already in the process of doing so.
hold up. But let me explain something. The X Men were not based off of the civil rights movement. Everybody gets that confused. Even Stan Lee got it on tape saying that he didn't base them off of that. Who did that was what's the writer? Uh, Chris Claremont. His writing made them the juxtaposition of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X because they weren't based off of that. Because if they were, it wouldn't have took them so long to get a black character. Storm came out in like I believe was like
Uh,
70.
I figure it's here 75. Yeah, 1975. Yeah.
Yeah, she came out in the 70s. If it was really about the Civil War, they would have been out then. But they would have had a black character. And you know what else? You
Well,
know what else you
actually,
gotta understand?
they
And
wouldn't.
X Men. Hold up. What else you gotta understand? Is X Men is actually a rip on Doom Patrol from DC. They were roommates. Stan Lee, the whole creation of X Men is from Doom Patrol. Because think about it, Doom Patrol started out with 5 members, and they were led by a guy in the wheelchair. X Men, 5 members, and they're led by a guy in the wheelchair. Same thing. They knew each other. Just like Thanos is a rip on Darkseid,
Mm.
and Deadpool Deathstroke.
Okay. So how did it get in this direction? uh, but anyway, y'all, shit, we're at the 2 hour mark. We're at the
Time
2 hour mark.
for
So let me ask y'all a question. How is important is representation to you when someone else is depicting a black man? How important is it?
uh, if you don't get consultation from a black person and you just go on however you want to do, it's not cool. Because a lot of people, like when Luke Cage was created, he was a jive. He was uh, he was a parody of exploitation, of black exploitation movies like Dolomite and the Truck Turners. And I guess that was okay at that time, but really, no. Then they did the Black Punisher thing. No, so I think it can be done with taste. If it's done with taste, it's okay. If you do it tasteless, it's not cool.
Mm.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. I get.
Representation is very important for us as a people, but it goes to show, Kev, that we're at a position in time now that we have to control narrative. You know what I'm saying? I've know one young dude that creates comic books, and he's in college. And I see the work he has, and I have a few of his comics, and he signed it for me. And I keep in storage, that it's come to a point that we have to control narrative, and reclaim the image by putting our hero narratives in picture form. You know what I'm saying? And it starts off with the books first. Then eventually it should transition to the movies. You get me?
But the books is always going to be a struggle because some black folks don't like to read.
Oh no, they'll read this because it's
Just
pictures.
there's cool pictures in it.
You,
Yeah,
you, gotta, you gotta understand how our people really relate.
No. Let me correct y'all real quick. And this is why a lot of these comic book heads, and people who've actually read some of these comic books for the stories, like myself, here's what it is. No one was interested in this genre of entertainment until they started making successful movies. You know,
yep,
when we were growing up reading comic books, people insulted us, called us all kinds of
yep,
nerds, all kinds of lames. What you coming for, man? What you coming for? Cause I can read, motherfucker. That's why. Like,
exactly.
like, like,
That's the truth.
like shit. And now that it's popular, and the boys are enjoying seeing their favorite childhood characters come to life on the big screen. Now everybody wants in on it. They want to be where the cool kids are, and they want to take over with their ideas. But see, here's the thing: when they inject their ideas, it's not the same anymore. If just say, for instance, Captain America's most. Let's say, and this doesn't necessarily have to be true, that Captain America is the most popular comic book character of all time,
Hmm.
and he just so happens to be a heterosexual white man.
Okay.
Now, people think like inserting a gay black guy into a role like that is going to make it just as cool as is when it was the other guy because it's Captain America. That's
Yeah,
a
they're gonna
mistake
sneak me the money.
people are fucking making, and it just throws all out of whack because you have to think about characterizations. You have to think about legacy. The story, the character building, the story building, the arc building. Years and years and years and years of working on this kind of thing, just to be taken away by somebody who believes that they have a better idea. You know,
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I totally hear you. It's sad that it's like
Greg,
that.
Greg corrected me. He said no. He said Without Remorse was based on Jack Ryan. Oh God. I mean, shoot, but okay. Here's ultimately okay. If you race swap, if you gender swap, at least make it a decent product.
Yeah, yeah. It's about the
At least,
writing,
at least make it good.
making compelling. Yes, the writing.
Yeah. If
Because it's like
if it sucks, then people are gonna say the only reason why you did it was to, try to tokenize a character. The only
Yeah,
reason
like
you did it because you wanted to make a headline, check off a box.
yeah, like Superman's son, they made him gay, and he is the most boring character in the world.
Yeah,
That writing is horrible.
because they made him that way just to make a headline. They made
Yep.
him that way just to make a headline, and they didn't want to do anything else with that character but make his superpower being, his sexual orientation. Just like, just like with a lot of these things that insert women into lead roles and and give them everything, and all they need is their encouragement to know that they can do it in order to solve the problem and be a hero. It's lazy storytelling.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling people. Like back in the day, back in like '90s, North Star from Alpha Flight came out as gay. He married his boyfriend. His boyfriend's a black dude, but the writing was so good. It was done good. They didn't tastefully. Rainmaker from Gen 13 was gay, but they did her tastefully.
Yeah, now they just doing this stuff, and they doing it with characters that, I mean, a lot of them are doing it with characters that they believe that because they were popular elsewhere, uh, they can be popular in that state too, and nothing could be further from the truth. And let me tell you something, and believe me, it doesn't. And I'm gonna say this, it doesn't bother me that much because once you figure out that you don't have to support these things and support these people that continue to do this stuff,
Mhm.
everything just becomes easier.
You're
Yeah,
right.
So,
You're right.
yeah, and it's like this. Yeah, I mean, they grinded Nate Parker's Birth of a Nation into the ground. You can mention it to a black person today. I don't watch no slave film. I say, I bet you watch Harriet. Well, what's
Yeah,
your point?
facts, facts.
What the hell you mean? What my point is? You think I'm dumb? You dumb motherfucker. But shoot, it's like representation is important, but it is if it's going to be important to black men need to do more than just sit around and complain about it. We need to make tangible pushes to make sure if they're going to handle our image, it's handled in a proper way. Because no other group, because every other group of people do that exact same thing. They don't let their portrayals be whack. And I mean, I understand that we're like a lot of those instances, or most of those instances, we're not in charge of the creative direction, but you got to put the fight up somewhere. So, so yeah, I don't believe that even if like they started representing all these black men, they all of a sudden you saw these roles come out of nowhere. Black men presented as being alpha males that are smart, that can solve everything, that can conquer every challenge. I don't believe black people would even like that. And it's not because it's just because it's black men, it's because it's an unrealistic vision. It's cheap. It's a virtue signal, and by no means something like that will be reparations. So if I don't want to see that under false pretenses for my own kind, black men. What the hell do I want to look at everybody else be that for? It sucks. It's lazy. Do better. So, any last words, gentlemen?
um, yeah. My favorite superhero when I was a kid was Silver Surfer because he looked like Michael Jordan.
Mm.
I had to say that.
Hey, hey, we got J Lock up here. What's going on?
It's okay. You about to shut it down? And we came the
Go ahead,
last.
go ahead. Say what you gotta say. How about you up?
Uh, yeah, man. The thing is, white women don't realize that they using it as they're using it as profit as pawns, man. They
Yep.
think white guys are they think black men white guys are mad. It's not only white guys. It's a whole bunch of people, ethnicities, nationalities are mad because they grew up watching this cartoon. Shit, man. And this is corporation. This is corporation is trying to represent is doing this, man. This is corporate. It's all corporate greed, man. You know what's funny? They would never do this to a Aladdin movie if Princess Jasmine was black. All them Hindus and Indians and Arabs would mad as fuck, man.
Oh,
They would never do that to Shang-Chi or Mulan or none of that. They will fucking. They know the consequences behind that, but they know for. It doesn't make. This is all corporate. This is all money move. This is a money grab, man. And you know the first ones who gonna go to this is who? Black women, because they gullible and stupid to believe. No, this is representation. This is not representation. This is tokenizing. It's tokenizing. Yeah.
It really isn't. It is tokenization and it's pandering and like, but if they have to see that it's bad, is we can't. We've been in these spaces long enough. I mean, we can explain it till we blue in the face. They're gonna accept this whether we like it or not. You know, is what it is. They'll accept it just to piss us off. You just, and that's something. Like I said, if we're going to, advocate for better images for ourselves, we the ones that have to make that push to do that. And it's gonna take some effort, but it's because it's clear to me that said group B Dubs, they like this shit because they played completely into it. I mean, they have done so much to keep them moving forward instead of it moving us forward as people, as black people, that, they're being rewarded for it. So expect more of it. Like, they got a film by the creators of South Park that's being created by Kendrick Lamar and one of his homies. The film is going to be basically this black guy that works at a museum as a slave reenactor that's dating a white girl.
What?
And yeah, and he's gonna
This
and
is
then
the South Park?
yeah, the creators of South Park.
Oh my
They're
god,
involved.
no, they didn't. They didn't go that route. Please, no, man.
Yeah. And I say the film is being created by Kendrick Lamar and a homie of his. And this, like I said, the film is about a guy who works at a museum as a slave reenactor, and he dating a white girl, and he finds out that his white girlfriend, her ancestors owned his ancestors as slaves. That's the premise. So yeah,
I never thought South Park would go this route, man. What the hell?
shit. I mean, they're trying to push they're trying to push a certain message, man. You know, that it's probably one of them leading white girls alone comedies or some shit like that. Can you imagine that they know they dating a white woman and then finding out her ancestors own your ancestors as slaves? That'll be weird because even if you break up with her, you still know.
uh, I listen. Listen. I just got done watching Cobra Kai like 2 days ago, man. And that's up to the best series ever, man. Out of comparison, all series shows I watch, except for anime, but it's. I mean, but it's, other than that, man, these shows is garbage, man. These shows and movies is garbage. The last movie I looked at that was pretty good was Bullet Train. And it ain't getting enough recognition for that, man.
Talking about Brad Pitt and Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
And Paperboy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what's behind it. But they didn't. It was no wokeism in that movie. Wasn't no wokeism in that movie.
Yeah. That's why Top Gun Maverick did so good.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, I heard it surpassed Black Panther movie. Made like $1 billion.
I heard it surpassed Endgame.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, it probably already surpassed Black Panther too. They ain't even out yet.
I'll say this: the one thing that black women think is that they like, well, the white man mad, y'all got fragility, y'all should shut the fuck up and just take it. I say it's just they really think that the whole tech community, the conscious community, is gonna come in like, no, this is a repetition of black women. They ain't gonna do shit. They think black men are gonna be shields and gonna be in harm's way to protect this movie. We ain't protected. We ain't seen no. Last my check, I ain't seen no black guys protect this movie except for the simps and the cuckolds. But
because
other than that, I'm not seeing no brothers protecting this movie at all, man. Woman King and Little Mermaid.
no. I mean, if you look hard enough, you're gonna find some simps. Just be
Let
happy.
them let them be the front. Let them be the front. Let them be
The
the front line to get
ancestors,
shot. Let them be the front line to get their harm's way.
the ancestors looking at y'all funny. I was like, no, the ancestors looking at y'all.
That that reminds me of how black people always say, "Oh, these people died for you to vote." No, they died for us to have the right to vote. I don't have to vote if I
Right,
don't want to.
right.
I mean,
I
they didn't.
I agree with that one.
I mean, they didn't die. They didn't die for false pretenses. I'll say that much.
Right.
But yeah,
Exactly.
I'm about to shut it down, y'all.
All right,
All
yo.
right, man.
Word,
Have a
word.
nice. I'll be on tomorrow. I'll join in tomorrow. You have a blessed night, brother. And yeah,
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
blessed night.
yeah. Appreciate it, gentlemen. J Lock and
Well,
Dane One and Chaos Rain. And tomorrow night's show should be another good one because according to you guys, I always do good shows. I mean, one can say that I could say I can do good shows all day, and it could look like ass to everybody else. But the point I'm trying to make is if I feel good about it, then hey. But yeah, is we got to be careful with who we decide or what we decide to call representation because uh at the end of the day, I want us to have a respect for it. I mean, if whether it's a movie about a fucking fish or a movie that is supposed to directly correlate with history, imagery seems to be everything when it comes to us as a people, and I don't want to go under the belief that we are that basic that we let images on TV and now images on the internet and whatever's pushed throughout the access media is the one thing that we should just accept just because it has a few $1 billion behind it. But um, image, I will agree, is very important. Representation is important. It may not be the biggest thing to me, but a different conversation is when it comes to impressionable children. That's the deeper conversation, and we must once again understand and learn that as adults who are parents and you might work with children or whatever the case may be, the important thing that we have to remember is we have to be the top influences in their lives and not a television or a movie, because that will be irresponsible on your part, and you're dealing with entities that only care about your money and not you exactly, and not like I expect them to care, but also see it for what it is. If just see it for what it is, and that's it for now. So, ladies and gentlemen, because most of my audience is men, and if for women that watch this program, and you know, just thank you for tuning in, and black men especially, sharing your thoughts with me once again, and you know, uh, helping me discuss this topic, man. You guys are the best, and I uh really appreciate everything, and thanks for the super chats as well tonight. Real cool shit. So anyway, guys, that's it for now. This is Kev. Long live the habitual line steppers and Kev we trust. I win. We're all gonna win. Peace out.
word.